Hey everyone, 8 days 20. Uh, Today is apparently just gonna be the reveal of the fifth Smash, the last of the Smash DLC people. Not gonna say a lot. I was at work, which is why I'm watching it now. Unfortunately, I've been told that the thumbnail and the title is no longer a mystery, but actually says who it is. So a friend of mine gave me a link in secret, so it's just an HTTP, and then said, "Oh, close your eyes" or something. And I'm like, it's gonna make it a pain to sync up. But then I was like, oh, whatever. I'll figure it out. So, yeah. Here's hoping the reaction looks good. All right. Enough of holding. I just wanted to give that quick side. And also, hey, it's been a while. So, here we go. Oh, wow. Really? Seriously? Is that what it's going to be? I clicked on the right link, right?
The time has finally come to unleash the forbidden spell of Zaharath.
Are you sure?
Upon our enemies.
Like, really? I'm legit shocked. Legitimately surprised is me.
What were you thinking, charging right into an enemy's trap?
Oh, sorry.
As you and I are one, I too am trapped within this void.
Wow, this came on really
our
quick.
Hearts and minds will cease to be. Are you prepared to die?
Like, I mean,
I thought as much. I
I'm
also
trying to think
do
of
not wish
something to
die.
say. Oh,
And yet,
the
there is no
the
other
thing
choice.
is, like, I remember
You
someone
must
was
join
asking.
Smash.
Well, so
Join
this.
Smash Brothers already. What in the world are you waiting for?
I mean, when the tiny evil goddess living, oh, not evil, when the tiny goddess living in your head tells you that you have to do something, you kind of have to do it.
So joining Smash consumes even the darkness itself.
Apparently so. I'm legitimately surprised. Like, oh, that's cool. Because I remember one of the things people were talking about was it wasn't a lot of people. It was a very small group of people. Were like, hey, are we ever gonna get a Nintendo character? Or is all this DLC just gonna be not?
So you returned, and sooner than expected. I see. Too many swordsmen, are there? And you wield the sword as well? What will you do?
That's funny.
Huh. So that is how you plan to win the day? So be it. I reward your cleverness this time.
Yeah, I was gonna use my headphones, so if you hear any feedback, that's completely accidental. Oh, the other weapons?
How
That's
is
cool.
this?
Maybe this time he won't end with him getting his ass kicked. Oh, poor guy.
Of anyone, you should be able to handle the hero's relics. With Arid Fire, strike with superior reach. Use Amir's overwhelming power. Unleash the blinding speed of Failnaught.
That's neat.
Along with the sword of the creator, each weapon matches a direction.
Oh, that's cool. It goes around all of Garreg Mach and you see everyone hanging out.
To you, both sides of time are revealed. Through Smash, show the world.
That's cool. But I remember people talking about well, I mean, once again, I already said this, but just the possibility of a Nintendo character, but I was not expecting, another Fire Emblem character. I'm not one of those guys. I just legitimately would have...
Yes, there you have it. Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses is joining the battle.
That's funny.
Fire Emblem Three Houses was released just last summer, so it's still very new. Even so, you'll soon be able to play as them in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
So I mean, that's okay,
This
but
release is
Xenoblade
planned
Chronicles
for
2
January
isn't
28th.
allowed?
You'll have instant access if you have the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters Pass, and it will
I
also
still
be
think that's
available
kind of
for purchase
bullshit.
individually. In case you're not familiar with Fire Emblem or Three Houses, I'll explain a few things, so don't
Like,
worry.
I mean, I like Three Houses. It's the first good Fire
First
Emblem game
off,
to release
what
since
is Fire Emblem?
the DS remakes, I guess.
really hard to
I mean,
pronounce in
Awakening was
Japanese.
alright.
The
Fates was a
producer said
trash
it's okay
fire
if I just say
of the highest
Fire
order.
Emblem.
I have unfortunately not gotten around to
But
playing
when writing
Echoes,
it,
but
if you
that one
don't
actually
write
looks
Fire
good. I've said this
Emblem,
many
the
times.
Fire Emblem police will come and get you, so please be careful. The series' first entry launched in Japan on the Famicom in 1990. You could say it was a pioneer in the
Man, I
genre
wish I
of
could use my
tactical
headphones, but
role-playing
unfortunately,
games.
for
You
some
might be
reason,
wondering
when
what
I had
makes
them
it
on, no
particularly
audio was
tactical.
coming through.
Well, it's tactical in that it simulates combat.
I don't even know
You
if
can
my
think of it
freaking
as moving pieces in a board game.
thing looks correct.
Or in other words,
Me.
a game in which you
Oh, boy.
advance units across a grid and battle.
See, I
When we
think the
talk
thing
about
is,
tactical games of that
I'm not
era,
trying to ignore
there
you,
were
Sakurai, I
lots
just
of
wanna
ones
say
in which
some
you
things.
command tanks,
Um,
aircrafts, and so on. But Fire Emblem was unique
Like,
because each
the
unit
thing about
was
Fire
a
Emblem
specific
is that
character, sort of like in role-playing games.
this is actually a conversation I had with my sister back. I think
Plus,
it was in,
something made it
before
stand out from other Nintendo
Smash 4,
titles.
where we were talking about new Fire Emblem
Characters
characters,
could permanently die.
and we were like, well, we would like this one, or we would like this
Pretty
one.
direct
But at the end of the day,
language,
we were
so
both
perhaps
like,
we should just say
or they
they're
could do something
sleeping with
else,
the
you
fishes.
know, like a different Nintendo character. And I was like,
But really,
yeah,
if a
like
character
there are
fell in
cool
battle,
Fire Emblem
you'd
characters
lose
I would
that
like,
unit.
but
They'd be
also,
gone, and you couldn't use them
yeah,
again.
something different, something from a new thing might be better.
Recent entries in the
So I
series
guess that's
maintain
kinda
this
like my
concept of
going
permadeath
feeling
to
right
some
now.
degree in classic mode
It's
and what
like,
have you. But a lot
yeah,
of games now allow
it's not
strategic
bad.
withdrawals, so to speak.
I'm not gonna complain about it. Like I get it.
In
Once
the
again,
older
Three
games,
Houses
your units would really
is
be
doing
gone,
pretty well,
never
you
to be
know.
mentioned again.
It is a fun game, you know. From
The
I've
game's
only done
stories
2 of the
are told
routes
like
myself.
chronicles of
It's
war, with increasingly
there's a lot of
distinct
game,
characters
and
and
then
engrossing scenarios.
gosh dang, like it's cutting off my chin. Sorry, this is probably
Several
the messiest
characters
thing
also
because of the
appear
way I
in the Super
chose
Smash
to
Bros.
record it.
series, and 6 of the 7 can use a counterattack. It's their down special. There's actually a reason for this. When I was considering how to incorporate Fire Emblem Fighters into Super Smash Bros. Melee, I thought it might be interesting to reflect the turn-based nature of the original game. First comes your opponent's turn. They attack and you counter. Next comes your turn.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
And now, Fire Emblem Three Houses is the 17th game in the series.
Jeez.
People who aren't Japanese in particular might be thinking, 17 games? There are that many? Well, if you include Fire Emblem Heroes in the remakes, but you don't include the Satellaview game, Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, and Fire Emblem Warriors, then it comes out to 17 games. Let's try saying them in the Fire Emblem Can You Say It challenge. I'll give it a try.
暗黒竜と光の剣、外伝、紋章の謎、聖戦の系譜、トラキア776、封印の剣、烈火の剣、聖魔の功績、草原の奇跡、暁の女神、新暗黒竜、新紋章、覚醒イフ、ヒーローズ、エコーズ、風化雪
There you go, 17.
今、変な数え方してます。
So you saw how I was counting in a weird way, right? I was counting in binary.
つまり、これが
This is 0. Fold this here and you get 1, and then you get 2, then 2 plus 1 equals 3. So this would be 4,
I used to know how to
5,
count
6,
binary.
7,
I learned
and
that
8.
in audio
And
production.
then you get 16.
Add
Add 1 and you get 17.
and then I forgot.
Awesome, isn't it?
You know what's funny? When they showed
can
this
actually
image
count
about
up to
for this
31
presentation,
with
he
one
was
hand.
doing that thing, and everyone was like 3 houses, and I'm like, you guys
if you
really
use
are
both
reading too
hands,
much
you can
into it.
count all the way
Well, it
up
was
to
between 3 houses and
1023.
Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm like, chill out. But turns out they were right. Now I
If you've
feel
given up
silly.
counting the knots in a tatami mat, you could always give it a go.
This man's
What
too
is
humorous
Fire
for his
Emblem
own
Three
good.
Houses? In Japanese, the male version of the main character is called Bereto, and the female version is called Beresu. But in English, they share the same name, Byleth. Byleth becomes a professor who ends up leading one of 3 academic houses.
Black
Once you've
Eagles!
chosen a house, you
That's
guide them
me.
through their school life, and, well, you end up fighting the other houses. After a certain incident, 5 years pass, and you meet up with your grown-up students to battle against the other houses in their regions. It's a very sad game in which your former allies become enemies, turn hostile, and try to kill you.
I mean, yeah.
To understand the concept of Fire
No one
Emblem
really
Three
likes
Houses,
each other in that
I
game.
played an early version of the game before its release. I've done the same thing before, with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example.
What was
Because
the
I
other
couldn't
game?
wait until launch to experience it, or we'd have never made it in time. For that title, I borrowed an early version of the game for 2 days, ran around all the areas, saw the ending, and realized for the first time, I guess we can't really have Breath of the Wild's Princess Zelda as a fighter. I did the same this time, but with there being 3 houses and multiple endings, it was really hard to get a feel for it.
Oh yeah, it's once
And
again.
of course, there weren't any walkthroughs I could reference.
I finished 2 paths, and it's just so much game.
The game has multiple routes, and the outcome of each is very different. Your experience will vary depending on the route you choose, and many of the characters you meet will adopt different roles in the story.
Yep.
I'll try to avoid spoilers when I'm talking about the fighter. I hope you'll understand. Before my demonstration, I should point out that when I did the Terry Bogard showcase video, I mentioned that it was recorded a month in advance. But this time, we have to account for the holidays and such, so we're filming 2 months in advance of this video's release. Right now, it's actually November.
What?
Therefore, some of what I'm about to show you might differ a bit from the finished version.
Wow.
As always, I'm using a special in-game camera and such for demonstration purposes.
Wow.
Here I go.
I wish I could listen more to what he's saying, but I don't have another backup pair of headphones because I didn't plan on it.
So, this is our new fighter, Byleth. Sadly, they're lacking in mobility. It's maybe a bit better than Robin's, but that's about all you can say for them.
Yeah,
Throws are
Robin
not
is
their
pretty
strong
slow.
point either. Their grab lacks range. But actually, you could say that they're a distance demon. The hero's relic they use changes depending on the direction you input with the stick. Each of the hero's relics is a weapon that appears in Fire Emblem Three Houses. They look like bones,
Dimitri,
and
Edelgard,
there's a reason for that.
and Claude's.
First, let's talk about the weapon Byleth uses for upward inputs, the Sword of the Creator. The Sword of the Creator here is Byleth's default weapon. They use it for flurry attacks and tilt attacks, such as down tilt attacks, where it takes the form of a whip. They also use the sword for dash attacks and other moves.
I saw that the release was January 28th, so
For their up smash attack, they'll whip the sword upwards to
12
launch
days.
enemies in the air. For their up air attack, they'll wave the whip
Week
sword
and a half.
overhead. The hit detection for this attack lasts for a relatively long time.
that looks cool.
The up special move is really something. The sword extends like this, allowing you to do things like this.
You see, you tell me Byleth goes fishing?
It was pretty terrifying
That's
how
what
I
it looks
knocked
like
him
to
into
me.
the air with that attack. And in addition,
I mean, come on. What else?
you can do awful things like this.
Like what? I missed it.
That said, you'll launch opponents upward until their damage reaches a certain percentage.
That's pretty cool, actually. Like whipping them and then jumping off.
Exceed
them.
that percentage
That looks
and
cool.
you'll need to be careful. You may find it helpful to mid-air dodge. I've already shown this, but you can also use it to latch onto edges. So that's the up special. Now, for the sideways inputs. This is Erdvar, the same name as the weapon from Celtic mythology. First, we'll go through the
Erdvar?
forward and back air attacks. As you can see, they have a long reach. Like so.
For reference, the only routes I actually
Marth's
did
air
was
attack
Crimson
keeps
Flower and
opponents in
Azure
check
Moon.
too, right?
I did Crimson Flower first because that's the one that I wanted to do, like from when the game
If
was
Byleth
announced.
does the same
Black
thing,
Eagle
you
House.
win out, so you should be able to beat it. Next, the
And
side
then I did
smash attack. This also
Azure
has
Moon
a long
second
range.
because
It'll connect
I think
even
they
here.
described the Blue Lions as like the Knight's house, so like the strength guys, whereas the Black Eagles are the magic and the
Also, if you add an
Gold
upward
Deer are
tilt,
like the
it will be
archers. So
stronger.
I was like, Knights. It sounds like my
And
actual
if you've knocked an
go-to
opponent
style
down,
how I play. So
the
I
side
did that one
attack
second.
won't hit unless you add a downward tilt to aim for them. By the way, the tip of the lance is more powerful.
I don't entirely
shaft
understand
part is
how this
weaker.
works, if I'm going to be completely honest.
So it's not suited to close combat.
So depending on
It
how
won't
you
deal
tilt
much
the
damage,
stick,
and it
it'll
won't
just
launch opponents
swap
far.
weapons.
That's why, as a rule, you want to hit with the blade part aimed upward.
I think the sword
Or
is for the
downward.
upward attacks, and the lance is for the sideways attacks.
Next, the side special move.
The axe is down.
Byleth will simply swing the lance like this, but again, it has excellent reach. For example, even when your opponent is at this distance, it'll still hit.
That is actually pretty impressive reach.
Actually, you can do a smash attack to charge forward a little, like this.
Wow.
But as you'd expect, it can be easily shielded, so be careful. Use it in midair and you'll carve up a large area.
That looks really cool, honestly.
Returning to the side air attacks from earlier, they have great horizontal reach, but they lack verticality. So this complements it well, although you'll be vulnerable when you land. Now, for the downward inputs. For these, Byleth will use an axe called Amir. It's named after a
spelled
weapon
right?
that appears in Ugaritic myth. First, the down air attack. It really is strong.
I thought it was... It's gonna be
You can try
bothering
for a
me this
meteor
whole...
effect with this attack.
this whole the presentation.
Next is the down smash attack. A heavy swing of the axe back and forth.
Like,
As you can
I think
see,
the
it
really
has a
funny thing
great
about
deal
this
of launch
presentation was
power.
how immediate it was. Like,
And for the down
it just
special,
cuts in, and it's like, yep, it's Byleth.
Byleth
Like,
channels
that's the
all
only
their energy
explanation
into
it
a
could be when they
devastating
were showing
strike.
that scene from when you fight
It's a bold
Solon.
move, similar to the Falcon Punch.
And I
but
was like,
here's what
oh,
makes it
like,
different.
no pomp, no circumstance, just...
When readying the
Here we
move,
go.
there's a super armor effect, which allows you to withstand an attack. Just so you know, if you execute a Falcon Punch at about the same time, it plays out like this.
That
It's a bit
looked
slower
really
than the
cool.
Falcon Punch, but due to the super armor effect, you have the advantage. Unless you get grabbed.
Whoops.
Another notable aspect is that it lets you pass through platforms. While you're charging up, you can breeze past platforms like this to reach a lower area. It won't let you jump, but you could use it as a surprise attack.
I think the thing that
Also, you can turn around during
gets
the
me
move.
is that I would have preferred any
The
of the
swing
lords.
takes a while. So if an opponent runs behind you during the move,
Like,
you can
Edelgard's my
quickly change
favorite.
direction.
Dimitri's okay. I don't actually have
Even
a
though it
positive
can be
opinion
hard
on
to land a
Claude.
hit with
I
this
know
move,
it's kind of unfair
It
because
can
I
be
didn't play
really
Golden
effective
Gear.
when used against
But
a group
just
of
some of the stuff I kind of picked up about him from the other routes and stuff that I've
Plus,
heard,
even if you fail
spoilers,
to
I'm like,
land a direct
I
hit,
don't really
any
think I'm gonna
opponents on
like
the
him
ground
much when I
nearby
play
will still
Golden
be
Gear.
launched a little.
So, but either way, I
It's as
think
if
any
the
of them
quaking of the ground launches
I
them.
actually would have preferred over Byleth. I think it's cool that he
By
has
the way,
access to all
earlier I talked a
Byleth
little
has
bit
access to all
about
the
the other
weapons
Fire Emblem characters' moves.
and like these different
I don't recommend
styles.
using this down special against fighters from the Fire Emblem series, because you'll just get loads of counters. It hits with that much power in a single attack. Counters can actually multiply the power of blocked attacks, and using easily anticipated attacks like this could just get you hit by counter after counter. Next, we have the neutral moves. The bow you use is called Failnaught, which shares its name with the bow from the Knights of the Round Table. It only appears in a few neutral moves. You've got the neutral air attack. This attack is similar to a move of Pit's and other fighters like him. It lets you spin the weapon around.
No, not the bend.
It's also easy
Who's
to
gonna
create
eat food
certain
now?
combos with it.
That's actually not the mess hall. Never mind.
And with the neutral special, you'll let loose an arrow. It
Simple
seems pretty
enough.
straightforward, right?
Yeah.
But there are a few noteworthy aspects to this bow. First, the biggest difference between this bow and Link's is that once you enter the command, you can keep charging until it's ready. You can't release it partway through the charge, so when it does fire, the arrow travels at high speed. It's also very powerful.
I see.
That said, you can still cancel out of the stance using the shield button.
Makes sense.
You can also change direction while in the stance. It works up until this point, but
I always forget you could do that
holding
with
the
moves
button.
like Falcon Punch, and I'm like, oh, if I had turned around
Unleash.
now, it would have been so much better. Too late by the
A
time I
powerful
realized
arrow
that.
that looks like a beam of light. You can perform this move by keeping the button held down. You charge up power like so. Charge a bit more, and then fire.
Dang, that's cool. I actually
But again,
missed it.
you'll
I
need to
looked away
take care
very
when
briefly.
using this move.
But that looks really cool.
For one, when you've powered up the move to its max, there's no way to cancel out of it. Not even with the shield button. In other words, you're committed to firing it. So you see, a situation like this is pretty terrible.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Once you've entered the stance, you won't be able to do anything. Which means it's quite the risky attack to use against fighters who have a move with a reflector effect. But you could always just aim into the fray, as it is, after all, a long-range move, letting you deal a sudden blow to opponents.
It's like
So
stand
you need
aside
to
as
think
other people
carefully
are
when
messing
using this
with each other.
projectile weapon.
That makes sense.
Byleth's final smash is called Progenitor God Ruptured Heaven. In the original game, there's a move called Ruptured Heaven. This is an enhanced version.
Yeah, that's where he smacks with the whip. That's cool.
As you can see, you team up with the
Wait,
mysterious
what's
Sothis and launch
What's
an
the
attack
initiation attack like? I missed it. I mean, I didn't, but I did. Is it just a swing? Got some range to it?
together. Now, let's talk about the color variations. It's set up so that the default and odd-numbered color variations are male, while the even-numbered ones are female.
Right. As
However,
expected.
the third, fourth, and fifth colors are, as
That's
you can
cool.
see, reminiscent of the house leaders. Those of you who played the original game will of course understand what I'm referring to.
Yep.
The sixth color is based on Sothis, who you just saw earlier.
Nice. Those are cool colors.
And the seventh and eighth variations have a different hair color,
Right.
which is based
Okay.
on
I was about to say, what was
based
the-
on something that occurs in the
Okay,
course of the
yeah, that
original
makes
game's
sense.
story. Didn't we see this variation in the final Smash?
All right. Yeah. Wow. They made the best use out of the colors that they had. That's perfect.
Next, I'll introduce the stage. For this one, we of course tried to recreate the place where you spend most of the game, Garreg Mach Monastery.
Oh yeah. I legitimately wish there was
This
a way I
is how
could keep track
Garreg
of how
Mach
much time I
Monastery
actually
is
spent
laid out in
there.
the original game. From these, we chose to have it cycle through the marketplace, reception hall, bridge, and cathedral all in one stage.
Makes sense.
It's the type of stage that rotates through different areas, such as these four. Let me introduce each of the guests that appear in these four areas. The first area is the marketplace. I think this is where a lot of
I see
people come to
Ingrid.
do their shopping.
I love Ingrid. She's one of my
The guests that
favorites.
appear here are students of the Blue Lion's house, Dimitri, Dedu, and Ingrid. Not Dimitri, Dudu, or Ingrid. Their names are a bit difficult to say. They're largely from the Holy Kingdom of Fargus. Since it's a kingdom, that means they have a monarchy. For that reason, I guess you could say Dimitri's the future king. He had quite
Dedu.
a difficult
Yeah, I
life.
always had a
May
hard
or may
time with
not
that
end
name,
up with
actually.
just one eye. He's an unfortunate one, that one. There are vendors on either side. In the original game, these are important booths where you buy all sorts of
Oh
things.
no! Don't, Byleth, stop! How dare
here
you.
you can break them, you see.
After all that they've done for you, after all
If you
that they've
do
done
break
for
them,
me.
The
That's really
stage will
funny.
expand to the left and right.
Oh, there's a gatekeeper in the background. Most important part.
I wonder where people
That's
will
what
buy their
everyone's going to be
supplies
talking
now.
about.
And in the background, you can see the gatekeeper. You often pass through this area in Fire Emblem 3 houses, and you end up talking to him a lot. Moving through these areas is possible thanks to this mysterious platform. Just when it seems like you've come to a stop,
Wow.
you'll come
That's
crashing
cool.
back down. We
Oh,
broke
here.
through the ceiling
Oh,
and
let's
slammed
see
into the building.
Dorothea, Petra, and Adelard. Nice.
And the guests in the reception hall are Edelgard, Dorothea, and Petra of the Black Eagles. Take note, it's not spelled Edelgard. They're from the Adressian Empire. And as such, they embrace their military might. Edelgard is one of the characters who is central to the conflict. Depending on the path you take, she'll go through some terrible ordeals. You'll notice there are
I
prominent
think if
chandeliers
there's one
above the
thing everyone can
stage.
agree on is
It's
everybody's
possible to
life
knock them
sucks
down.
in Three Houses.
However, Byleth can't actually reach it, even though it's their stage. You can reach it with other fighters, though. So, it's nice
Like
if you can
everyone who
work
can
your way
fly.
up there by getting lucky and being launched up, or perhaps by using another fighter as a stepping stone. There we go. I made it. And you can knock it down.
Hey, if you both get up there, you can recreate the Super Mario
Also, you can
RPG
break this table.
opening fight between Mario and Bowser.
Like so. Just like the sign that reads Furin Kazan in the Suzaku Castle stage, it can break if you launch the opponent into it at close range. Next up, the bridge. The camera rotates 90 degrees.
I think in
creating
the
this long
like the
area.
trailer I saw Lorenz.
It's very wide indeed.
Yep, Hilda and Claude. And the Peg Knight, just like in the game. I believe there's you can see Pegasus Knight
It's similar to the bridge of
around
Fountain
the
stage.
bridge.
The guests are from the Golden Deer, Claude, Hilda, and Lawrence. They belong to the Leicester Alliance.
Oh,
Because
wow.
it's an alliance of many noble families, you could say that they have a wide assortment of members. And
I
Claude is the
just
sharpest
noticed
of
the
bunch.
ratio.
Incidentally, both Claude and Hilda are the names of characters that appear in Genealogy of the Holy War, the 4th title in the Fire Emblem series.
Really?
I guess once you've reached the 17th game and are creating 40 characters for each new entry, you're bound to get a bit of name overlap.
I'm
The naming
surprised there's not
process
more,
must
to
be
be
tough.
completely honest.
Hey, it looks like the Pegasus Knight is busy training.
But seriously, like, just
As
quick
for the
side
bridge's
note,
design,
there's
it's just a long
81,000
pathway,
likes,
plain and simple.
45,000 dislikes.
You can expect plenty of blows to be exchanged at
That's
the edges of the
actually
screen.
more. That's like half.
You could also say it's a place where the fail knot really
Wow.
shines, and in this sense, I think it suits the Golden Deer perfectly.
Jeez. I mean, I imagine that part of the hate is because it's a Fire Emblem character.
last
and
area
I
is the
honestly can't
Cathedral.
disagree.
Only with some platforms you can pass through. The guests appearing in the cathedral are
Oh
Seta,
my gosh,
Flame,
damn.
and Rhea. There's Seta, who appears to have an extremely strong bond with his sister, Flame. She seems to be under the protection of him and Rhea, who you can see fighting during the opening of Fire Emblem Three Houses. All three have character quirks related to their true identities. I feel that Flame might be saying shush at this point, so I'll leave it at that.
She probably would be.
This is a simple area of the stage. All it has
Like, I
are
never
these
trust
platforms.
churches in video games
Being the
because you
last
should never
area,
trust
it may
churches
be a
in video
place where
games. So I was
some
already
intense
wary
battles
of
will be
Rhea from the
waged.
second I started playing the game.
It'll cycle
But
through each
Setheth and
location
Flame,
in
I
about
didn't
2.5
mind them so much when I
minutes.
played Black Eagles. When I played Blue Lions, I actually really didn't like them. They creeped me out, actually. I'll be completely honest.
Today we'll have a tag team battle in Squad Strike with the DLC team pitted against Fire Emblem protagonists from throughout the ages. That'll give us precisely 5 players per side.
Oh, the DLC
All right,
team.
here
That's
we go,
cool. You can
Joker.
actually do that now.
Joker!
What'd you do that for?
And Hero!
Oh, Sakurai, you madman.
Gee, we really made a lot, huh? Banjo! By
They
now,
did.
I think you know what I'm doing. But basically, I'm trying to defeat all 5 opponents with just the professor here. But as expected, it's going to be a pretty tough battle, so I'm using anything I can get my hands on.
What level are the CPUs? Not
It's
that
not
I'm
gonna
like
land that
doubting
easily.
Sakurai's skill at all. I can't take on level 9
Oh, this is
CPUs.
bad.
Not without like.
Shenanigans. I better keep my distance. I'll use this chance to attack. Got him.
Got it in 1, 2.
That's
Got it
scary.
in 2.
He's invincible for a moment here.
I would not have done that. Completely
Lots of
honest, I would not have thrown it
explosives.
at
Ouch.
that close range.
The perfect shield
Just
of
like,
that,
are you
huh?
kidding me? That absolutely would not
Good
have
one.
worked if it was me. I was gonna say something about
If I do
this
this,
actually, but
like
something
this,
I noticed.
or like so.
I don't think
no
there's
entry
anything
yet, huh?
interesting.
There, the soccer ball connected.
Yeah, the soccer ball is always fun, even though it's very strong.
Good, there's Mom.
I still think, like, seeing all these
You're in a good
items and
spot,
seeing the
Mom.
assist trophies, I think that it probably would have. I thought that was Sakurai for a second.
Ah,
I think
should've
it would have been
taken that.
beneficial if.
Gardevoir. Well, I guess no one uses projectiles. At this point, it doesn't matter if Gardevoir's there or not.
They should have. Oh, here's what I was gonna say. They're swapping through the areas really quickly. Is this
I
just
feel like
'cause-
the enemy might get this
Is
smash.
this something that he changed? Or?
See? They got it. But I mustn't give up.
Did he just break? How do
I
you do
can't
that?
waste the chance.
How do you do that?
There's another smash ball.
But it
got it.
swapped really quick. It's swapping.
Now, what are you charging up for?
If I
There's still
I
more.
kind of hope that it stays on the pieces of the stage a little longer, because it's kind of out of control.
Go on, you can take the hammer, but it's mine. Although I'm scared I might get hit with a counter in this state.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I hit him.
Yeah, he's got a good point. I definitely
I was
wouldn't
trying to
have done that
fight
either.
using Byleth's abilities alone, but what matters is that I won. Good game.
If I have a counter and someone grabs a hammer, I'll be like, yes.
It can be fun to play like this, especially in tag team, so I think it's a good idea to try imposing different types of challenges on yourself. The end.
I can't believe he killed all the... People are wondering who would die in this special. Apparently, all the DLC
Now,
characters.
about the additional music. Since it's from the Fire Emblem series, we'll be adding each of the new tracks to all the Fire Emblem stages. There are already a lot of Fire Emblem tracks in the game.
True.
Our selection this time has been made taking those existing tracks into consideration. 11 songs are being added. This includes an arrangement of the main theme in both Japanese and English.
Is that the
I
song
hope
that
you'll
plays
enjoy
during the
these as
opening
well.
animation? Or the opening montage?
We're also adding in a new spirit board.
Of course.
It includes the house leaders among some of the other popular characters.
Guests. Where do those images come from anyway? I don't think I've ever seen those images
So this
before.
is Legend class. Also, there's a new classic mode route, a Heroic Legacy, which is designed to let you enjoy classic Fire Emblem stages from throughout the series' history. The final battle is against Master Hand and Crazy Hand.
There aren't that
But
many...
you'll find that something pretty amusing happens, so look forward to that.
Ooh. There aren't that many Fire Emblem stages in the game,
Now
though,
for the Mii Fighter
unfortunately.
costumes. Please take a look.
And a lot of them are pretty generic. Well, I mean, the Coliseum's generic. The Castle Siege is super generic. Alright, who we got? What we got? I was like, that's an assassin, isn't it? That... Wow. That's cool. Altair. Oh no. Oh my gosh. Mario Plus Rabbids is good. Like, recommend. Hard too. Who we got this time from Mega Man? There was no X costume yet? There's always at least one costume in these montages that I'm like, this was not in there already. That one either? Very surprising. Really? Cuphead? Oh no, villager, no. And it also comes with... That's rad! Just like the Sans, I'll definitely have to get this one. Because it has a music track, come on. He's always smiling though, I don't trust him. Neither should you. So have there been Mii costumes, I mean this definitely isn't new, that are DLC in this game and in Smash 4? Huh. I always kind of noticed it every time they do these montages, but I never actually brought it up. I guess it doesn't matter because I don't buy them.
This time, we're releasing a Cuphead costume. And for those of you who purchased the Cuphead costume, an additional song will be added. It's called Floral Fury, and it's the theme that plays when fighting Cagney Carnation.
Is that the
I
sunflower?
hope you enjoy these as well.
No, I don't think that is. I actually don't know
After
that boss.
purchasing a costume, I
didn't
recommend
play it.
using the sharing feature. If someone has created a Mii Fighter, you can play using the costume it's wearing immediately after you download it. And now, onto the amiibo.
Oh, alright. Who we got? Ooh. Dark
The
Samus and
color
Richter.
palette for Dark Samus looks pretty good, doesn't it? Dark Samus and Richter are planned for release on Friday, January 17th.
I need to get more amiibo, honestly.
And now, with the addition of Byleth, the Fighter's Pass is finally complete.
You guys did it. It
The
only
lineup
took you
was Joker, Hero,
how long?
Banjo and Kazooie.
When
Terry
Byleth
Bogard,
releases in
and
12
Byleth.
days, how long has it been since they started?
From more than 70 fighters, only 5 have been added. But I must say, this game has always been an exceptional experience. And since the roster was already so large to begin with, right from the start, we intended to make the most out of the new gameplay mechanics and so on. There really were a lot of new mechanics, weren't there?
Yeah.
When we add a new fighter, we
Terry's
don't
my
simply
absolute,
make their
like,
attacks or their
oh my
movements
gosh, I
a little
love
different.
Terry. He's
Instead, we try to offer you a whole
the
new
stage is
style
also
of play.
fantastic.
As I stated, we'll continue to release more DLC fighters down the line. I had thought that 1 or 2 might suffice, but,
This is
well,
another pass.
have a look.
Yep. What? Oh. Well, I mean, I guess they did 6 the first time with
Looks like
Piranha
there'll be
Plant.
one more fighter than last time. For this reason, we will be releasing the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters Pass Volume 2. It will be available for pre-purchase on the date shown, so please keep an eye out.
What date? Oh.
And now that it's official, we intend to move ahead with development. Of course, like last time, the contents will remain unknown for now, and I'm personally very sorry that we have to release Fighters Pass Volume 2 when the details have yet to be revealed. Like last time, I'd be very grateful if, despite that, you would understand why and purchase it. Furthermore, the new additions have already been decided. Even if I receive many requests regarding potential candidates on Twitter, I'm afraid it would be very hard to consider them.
Considering the choices are already made, yeah.
But
I
I still
imagine that
hope
would
you'll
be
look
tough.
forward to it. We're also including a bonus with Fighters Pass Volume 2. Last time, it was a Rex costume, but this time, here's what we have.
That Rex costume.
It's a Mii Fighter costume for Mii Sword Fighter, the ancient soldier gear from The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
That should look cool. That
This
armor
will
does
not be
look cool
for
in
sale
game.
individually, so it can only
I don't
be
even remember if I
acquired
got
as
it
part
though.
of Fighters
Like
Pass
I've seen
Volume
it,
2.
but I think I did. What you gonna tell us, Sakurai? How much you love us?
It's been reported that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the highest-selling fighting game in the world. Personally, I don't know if it counts as simply a fighting game, but I guess it's seen as a fighting game around the world.
I mean, what can you do, right?
Seems like Street Fighter II was in the lead for a while, but now Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has surpassed it in total sales. However, I'm not sure if this is accurate.
Not surprised.
There were 5 versions of Street Fighter II, or 6 to 7 if we really want to get into the weeds. Plus, there's the arcade versions and the 25 ports to other systems, so I don't know if that's been accounted for. Also, I don't know if that really qualifies as one game. It's up for discussion. So, who knows? But when it comes to a single piece of software, it seems like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is number 1.
Makes sense. I think
Although,
it's-
I still don't know if it can really be called just a fighting game. I feel like it's become more than a fighting game, some sort of celebration of gaming or something else entirely. Also, I feel a deep attachment to the 5 DLC fighters.
it's like they're your kids.
The first Fighters Pass just wrapped up, but it was decided that there will be more DLC, which means no breaks for me. I plan to keep working hard, so I hope you can continue to support us. That's it. Thank you.
Jeez. 6 more fighters. That's surprising. Like, it's surprising, but at the same time, I'm like, no, yeah, that makes sense. Because we did get 6 fighters in the first wave. It's not the first pass, but Piranha Plant. You know, he counts. Because you can actually still purchase him separately. Huh. So, I guess, just end this off with really quick thoughts. I was hoping it'd be a Nintendo character. That was my one main hope. And people were like throwing around Sora, Dante. Who else was the other big one that I saw shortly before in the like 2 days since they announced this? I don't know. Like Dante and Sora definitely stuck out, but I don't know who else. I saw one person joke about Geno, but I think it's just at this point you have to joke about Geno. Yeah, not much. I was just honestly, I just want more Nintendo characters. Like, I mean, I don't have any issue with all the third parties that they added in. Joker, Banjo, Terry, Hero. They're fun. Terry's like one of my all-time favorite characters. He's up there. Not as in like I'm a huge Fatal Fury fan. I just mean for playing in Smash, he's one of my all-time favorites. He's just so much fun. If it had to be a Fire Emblem character, like as much as I would have loved it to be an older character, and this has nothing to do with my dislike for Three Houses, because I don't dislike Three Houses. I think Three Houses is fantastic. I just would have liked the more legacy characters, or a legacy character of some kind. Which one? I'm not really that picky. I just think anyone, even if it's one that came from a Japanese-only game, I would have been satisfied. But at the same time, it's one of those things where you're like, well, why would you want another Fire Emblem character at all? Why? And I'm like, well, I don't. Not really. If we were gonna get a Three Houses one, I'd still say I would have preferred one of the Lords. But I guess maybe there's, I don't know, I doubt it was consideration, but can you imagine if they did include one of the Lords? That the fan base has become very, very aggressive in how they portray their of their specific Lord, So if the one that gets in would just be subject to so much distaste from the other two, and so I guess choosing Byleth was the ultimate. Well, let's just avoid that minefield. I doubt that was ever even a consideration or a thought when this choice was made. No way. But imagine if it was. Imagine if it was like Dimitri or Edelgard or Claw. That would have destroyed everything. I'd like, jeez. Because there's one thing about Three Houses I don't like, which is not even the game. It's the fan base. It's the inability of Blue Lions and Black Eagle people to just be civil. Maybe it's because I'm a Black Eagle fan, but it seems to me that the Blue Lions are the more just unbearable assholes. But maybe if I was a Blue Lion fan, I'd see it the other way around. Who knows? But the thing for sure is those two houses don't like each other. The fans just can't seem to have a good time. And then the Golden Deer over there, just less said about that, the better. So I mean, it's surprising because it was so recent, and I feel like that. I mean, here's the thing. People always try to make up rules for who can or can't be in Smash. But for some reason, people are obsessed with coming up with rules. Recently, I heard this new rule that everyone seems to believe, which is like if spirits were added for these characters post-release of Smash Ultimate, then that character is no longer in consideration. So like they had Astral Chain spirits most recently, which is cool. They had Daemon X Machina spirits. They had Resident Evil spirits too, also nearby. People are like, well, then that means those characters can't happen. And I'm like, but why? I don't understand why people seem so sure about that. But then again, people just always seem to gravitate towards these set rules for some reason, and I don't totally get it. But I guess it's just Smash speculation. People need to have rules so that they can streamline speculation. But at the same time, I feel like that you also use these rules to just crap on people who want something that doesn't follow the rules, so to speak. But I'm just preaching to the choir at this point, because that's Smash speculation in a nutshell. People can't agree on anything, and it gets aggressive. So I mean, Byleth is cool. It's cool. Character's nice. Game's nice. Stage looks cool. Music's great. But final opinion, I would have preferred a Nintendo character from a different property. But yeah, that's my view on it. I think I think that looks to be a pretty understandable view given the 81k likes to 45k dislikes. I understand it. I really do. Let's imagine for a second that even I was like an even bigger Fire Emblem fan than I am, because I'm not as big anymore. Xenoblade's like my main thing now. But if I actually did like Awakening and Fates all like full on, loved them, loved everything, I'm 99% sure I would still be like, yeah, I think this is pushing it, you know. So, but that, you know what, I'm not gonna complain all that too much, because Sakurai's been working his ass off, and I totally understand. Like from the perspective of the character and the property, I guess it makes sense as to why this is one of them. And so in the end of the day, it's not a dislike. It's not like I hate the idea of it. I just would have preferred someone else. But you know, we got 6 more coming, so it's not like this is the end of the road. Well, all right. So hope you all had fun, and I hope the people who were super excited for this enjoy the hell out of it, and the people who were let down, I hope that there is something coming in the next 6 fighters that you'll love. And also, I can't wait for the next Nintendo Direct. I'm so excited for Xenoblade. Oh my gosh, you don't even know. I'm still gonna continue like sitting over here hoping for Rex or just Xenoblade in general in Smash. Like anything at this point, I'll take it. Anything. Anyway, thanks all for watching, and see y'all next time. Have fun. Have a good day. Bye-bye.